Hey, what's going on, America? This is Corey with BreakTheChainsMedia. Today is January 11th, 2021. I have been going over articles, I've been looking through all the evidence, and I've been watching all the videos I can regarding January 6th at the Capitol Hill protest, okay? And I've got one question for you guys that's listening, and I want you guys to leave your comment down below in the section. Who benefits most from what happened and took place that day? Which party, which system, which establishment took the win, so to speak, that day? I don't think it's Trump, and I don't think it's his supporters, because we all knew we were there to peacefully protest and to contest the electoral vote counting process. And we knew that Congress was going in there to do everything legal and constitutional in our rights, in Trump's rights, to contest the votes. It's been done many elections in the past, and it was totally in his legal rights to do so. Why would Trump supporters storm Capitol to stop the process, to make a scene, to enact such violence as it's been reported, okay? Now, to be clear, Trump supporters did enter the building. Kool-Aiders, the ones who's drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking it all up, okay? Got Buffalo Bill and his flag and his war paint all in there dancing around, okay? Those guys were in there. But then there was other ones. Who were the ones that bashed the doors in? Who were the ones that broke the windows? They were using batons, breaking the windows down, okay? Trying to get in. Not to mention the lackluster security and police presence there. They knew days in advance that this was going to be taking place. Why didn't they have a stronger military and police presence? Didn't have to be military, but they knew that that was going to happen, okay? They knew that that was a thing. So, that being said, we're going to talk about that. We're going to investigate that. And I've got a very interesting Executive Order 13959. Not very many people are talking about this right now, but it is very interesting because a section of that actually was enacted this morning, January 11th at 9:30 a.m., okay? So we're going to go over all those things. But first, if you could, share, subscribe, like. I've got a bunch of other videos, a little bit older videos because I've been putting a lot of new content recently, but I got a lot of good stuff on the channels. Follow me on BitChute. Follow me on Gab. I know Gab is being overwhelmed right now. Parler has completely disappeared, and Thanos snapped out of existence at the moment, but, you know, we'll roll with the punches as they come, right? So I've got a bunch of different alt tech sites you can check me out on, all right? So check me out there, and we're going to actually jump right into the news, okay? So I've got this article here on the Epoch Times, and it talks about my first point. Capitol Police rejected multiple offers of federal help, all right? So 3 days before January 6th, the Pentagon asked Capitol Police if they needed National Guard manpower, but their offer was turned down by Capitol Police, with an unnamed senior defense official told the Associated Press. As the building was stormed, Justice Department leaders reached out to Capitol Police again and offered to provide them with FBI agents, but Capitol Police again returned them down, according to the sources. Okay? The rejections for additional federal support came in despite of plenty of warnings, ample resources, and time to prepare. Okay? The USCP had only planned for a free speech demonstration, which, like I said in the beginning, it was. It was only they had a stage set up. Trump spoke at the Ellipse on the other side. They marched down peacefully. Trump himself even said that day to peacefully go down to support your congressmen, to support your senators, okay, and to every right as an American to object to the electoral vote, to hear our voice in a peaceful demonstration, okay? So the storming of the Capitol, I believe, was something ulterior entirely, all right? And that being said, you know, we also had reports of pipe bombs being found at both Democrat and Republican headquarters in D.C. in a van full of Molotov cocktails. I don't know. That doesn't sound like Trump supporters to me. 99.9% of Trump supporters are not going to be doing that. Okay, there's obviously fringes on both ends of the spectrum. Okay, but I do believe this was a attempt by the left or other factions that want to defame, demoralize, and to smear the name of Trump supporters, okay? We were, for months and months ago, since the election took place, There's been reports of Antifa members saying that they were going to impose Trump supporters, buy MAGA gear, buy Trump flags, buy all these things, and blend in with the crowd. Okay, this is not. It's not a conspiracy by any stretch. There's plenty of reports out there. You can check them out for yourself. But I do believe the people that initiated the initial push into the Capitol was an insurgent group that was trying to use that mob mentality to push their agenda, to push that, oh, we got to go run in and show them who's boss. What would that prove? That wouldn't prove anything to any Trump supporter with half cognitive function, you know? So it is rather frustrating to see it take place the way it is, okay? It is not clear how many officers were on duty on Wednesday, but the complex is policed by a total of 2,300 officers over 16 acres of ground who protect the House of Representatives and Senators. Okay, so in regards to this article, it's clear that the lackluster defense of the Capitol building, there could have been more staff present. Okay, they knew that this was going to happen, and Mayor Bowser of D.C. is, I think, partially to blame in regards for the lackluster support and preparations behind this. Okay, next article I have, and this leads to kind of the main idea of what happens after this. 25 domestic terrorism investigations open in connection with the U.S. Capitol breach. Okay, U.S. Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy told Representative Jason Crow, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, during a phone call that at least 25 domestic terrorism cases have been opened as a result of the assault on the Capitol, according to Democratic lawmakers. Okay? Crow McCarthy told him that the Pentagon was aware of further possible threats posed by would-be terrorists in days up to including the inauguration of presidential-elect Joe Biden on January 20th. So what they're doing now is they're using what happened at the Capitol to paint and prop up this idea that anyone that supports Trump, anyone that is in opposition to the incoming presidential elect, is a domestic terrorist. Okay, and that just shows you what kind of power they have now over the narrative. They're using the Capitol Hill protest / riot to further an agenda to mark citizens for wrongthink, so to speak, you know, pulling that out of 1984. Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser has called on the Department of Homeland Security to increase security measures ahead of Biden's inauguration. Oh, she's going to do that now. She'll do it now for Biden's inauguration, but not when Trump supporters were supposed to have over 1 million people there in a peaceful protest. So that's very interesting. Okay. Long guns, Molotov cocktails, and explosive devices and zip ties were recovered, which suggest a greater disaster was narrowly averted. All right? Now, that just shows you that there could have been a potential worse outcome for the Capitol Hill protest. Okay? I personally think that what happened was terrible, should never have happened. But the provocateurs that were present, there were provocateurs present, I believe that they wanted a bigger and more violent type of insurrection as they are claiming it to be. So with the zip ties and the explosive devices, long guns, guns are illegal in DC for citizens. So that being said, it's just very strange that all of this took place and you're seeing the aftermath. And it could have been a lot worse. I'm glad it wasn't. And a lot of people are very upset at what happened by all stretch. So at the end of the day, you're going to see more infringements, more lockdown measures. You're going to start seeing, I mean, we've got a no-fly list for Trump supporters now, apparently. Anyone that was at the D.C. protest, there's people trying to get home on planes. They're not able to go on planes because they were part of that. Now they're just doxing anyone, a picture of anyone. There was a lady that was outside of the Capitol. Who is this person? Let's find her. Let's go get her. Why? You have a right to protest, okay? Just like everyone was protesting for 7 months, doing all the damage that they did before. I mean, that was terrible, equally so. I mean, the Capitol protest, that was wrong. You shouldn't have walked in. I've said it before, but I think that there was supposed to be a bigger movement that took place inside that Capitol building. Okay. Now this is what I wanted to get into today as well. I just got information regarding this earlier today from an analyst of mine. Executive order on addressing the threat from security investments that finance communist Chinese military companies. It was written November 12th, 2020. So a few days after the election. But here he states that it kind of talks about the process in which, so, and this is what I'm talking about here. So, beginning 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 11th, 2021, today, any transaction in publicly traded securities or any securities that are derivative of or designated to provide investment exposure to such securities of any communist Chinese military company as defined in Section 4AI of this order by any United States person. So, it looks like they're prohibiting these transactions and securities, okay? And we'll scroll down to Section 4AI. For purposes of the term Communist Chinese Military Company means any person that the Secretary of Defense has listed as Communist Chinese Military Company operating directly or indirectly in the United States or any in its territories or possessions pursuant to that section amended, and the date of this order annexed to this order. So what I've gathered from this is that they are trying to stop foreign, particularly Chinese foreign financial securities. And I'm not sure the extent of this, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that there's another executive order that, I mean, took place today. It started today. So it's not going to affect here so much, but we'll finish up with this article here. I therefore further find that the PRC military-industrial complex, by directly supporting the efforts of the PRC military, intelligence, and other security apparatuses, constitutes an unusual and extraordinary threat which its source in substantial part outside of the United States to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. To protect the United States homeland and the American people, I hereby declare a national emergency with respect to this threat. So it's talking about Chinese finances, whether it's in the U.S. or not. But I thought that was really interesting, and we'll see how this plays out. And I know a lot of people were talking about Executive Order 13848. I believe that is a little bit at the wayside now. I mean, Trump's got 8 or 9 days to figure out what he needs to do. And that's the most dangerous thing about all this, is that it comes down to just he needs to stand up. He needs to make a stand. He needs to do something, say something, amend and make clean what he meant. And well, now that he's pretty much banned off everything, I don't know how he can, but it's just really interesting. We're going to keep watching these different articles here. Lastly, I just wanted to leave off with current Bitcoin information. It definitely took a dive last night into the morning. It's currently sitting at 35K, but Bitcoin is doing some big moves. Okay, so we need to keep eyes on that for all of you crypto traders, investors. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not giving you financial advice. However, I have been watching these markets, and it is just very interesting to see how it plays out with everything happening in politics and with everything happening in finance, especially in regards to that Chinese financial seizure, or at least the executive order, as so they stated today. But it did hit 41K as its high, and now it's back down to 35 about. But it's looking to be a rebound. We'll see what happens. But that being said, folks, I am Corey, and this is BreakTheChainsMedia. Thanks for checking me out. Please like, share, subscribe. Find me on BitChute. Find me on Gab. I know it's really bogged down right now. Whenever Parler, fingers crossed, hopefully they get fixed. But we'll see if they can do the un-Thanos snapping of Parler. We'll see what happens there. I'm on Rumble as well. So check me out. I am doing as much as I can. Please. Thanks. And as always, fight for freedom.